In this tutorial, we are going to make something like this. So if I increase it, let's say to 70 and 10 coins, I'll save, I can close, re-enter, and I can click load, and it's going to save it. I can decrease and click load, and it's going to save it again. Let's get started. Okay, so in my scene, I have a label for coins, a label for my title, an increase button, a decrease button, a save button, and a load button, and a health bar, which I'm going to show later. And in my scripts, all I have is the connection for the increase and decrease button, which just increases the variable called coins. We get the coin label, we just put the coins number into it. So if I run it, increase brings it up, decrease brings it down. The save and load buttons are empty, so it doesn't do anything. So the first thing I want to do is actually just go into my scripts folder, create a new script, and call it data. In here, we're going to delete everything, go in and extend, and I'm going to call it, it's going to be resource with a class name of data. Afterwards, I'm going to make a variable called coins, which is an integer, which is, the default value is going to be like 0. And then I'm going to go back in level, and in here, we're going to access that resource by doing var save data is equal to data dot new, and I'm going to make a function here called function save game. Now we're not going to be saving the game with JSON, we're saving with the own Godot's like resources, which I think is a bit better. So in here we're going to give an argument called save path, which is going to be a string, and the save data, which is going to be the resource. So we're going to be passing this onto here. Then in the function we're going to give it a variable called data is equal to resource saver dot save, and we're going to just pass in the save data and the save path. Afterwards, I'll just do if data doesn't equal okay, I'm going to print error saving game afterwards I'm going to make a function for loading the game, which is just going to have a save path, which is equal to a string. In here we're going to just see var loaded data is equal to resource loader. Then we're going to do if loaded data doesn't equal null. So if it exists and loaded data is a resource, then we're going to return the loaded data. Else we're just going to print error loading game and just return a null. Now that's pretty much the entire function you need for load and save, the loading and saving the game. Now we just gotta call them. So right before I update my coin label, I'm gonna save data.coins is equal to coins. So that this is where I'm gonna update this value in here, which happens every frame. Afterwards, I'm gonna go on the save game button and just call the save game function. I'm gonna copy, I have a folder called saves, and I'm gonna copy this path, put it in the string. I'm gonna name it save data.tres. Now in here we call two arguments, the path and the data. So we gotta also give the save data, and that's it. That's the entire function for saving the game. Now for loading it, we gotta do var loaded data is equal to load game, which we're just gonna copy paste this. Afterwards, we're gonna say if loaded data exists, then we're gonna do if loaded data exists, we can just do coins is equal to loaded data dot coins. Okay, I forgot to show this, but if you go back to your data.gd, the resource, we gotta put an @export before we call the variable, and then afterwards we can increase to whatever number we want. I'll do like 9, save, I'll just close the game, and I can just load the data back in 9. If I decrease, I can click the load and go back to 9. Now, let's say you want to add like the health bar, for example, as we have here. So what I'm going to do is in here, I'm going to go back on the data. I'm going to go down and do export var health, which is going to equal integer. Now in here, we're going to do export var health is going to be an integer. And then in our levels, we're just going to go, and in our level script, I'm going to bring this here so I can access the health bar. And let me just say every time the health bar, now let me just say I'll change the value with the increase of like when the button gets pressed, say brings it by 2, or the decrease one gets pressed, it brings it down by 2. So now if I just run it, you're gonna see it brings the health bar up and down. And in my update text, I'm gonna say save data dot health is equal to health. And down here, when we load the data, I'm gonna do the same thing. Health dot value is equal to loaded data dot health. Forgot to put the dot value here, but now if we run, I can increase, and it's gonna get to, like, for example, 70 with 10. I can save this, close, load again. It's gonna be back at 50 and 0, load, and it brings it up. It's that easy to, like, add new stuff to it. All you do is you just save it in, like, whatever you want, and you just load here, and that's it. I hope you enjoy. Bye.